All right, everybody, we've got more questions piling up. I'm finally getting to a few more of these. The question I got today that got to the top of the list here was from Joel, and Joel wrote in and asked about Genesis chapters 1 and 2. In Genesis 1, down around verse 27, we see the creation of females, and then female in particular, of course, and Adam's wife. In Genesis chapter 2, then we get more description of the creation of Eve with all the details about from the rib and all of that. And I've kind of given away my answer in that statement. It's just presented as a sequential fact in chapter 1, and then it's presented as a narrative in chapter 2. And the question from Joel is, it seems like there's two creations of women here. So did this happen twice? What's going on? Probably the most dramatic example that I can give you that would help you think this through would be turning in your Bibles to Genesis chapter 10. Remember, 6 through 9 is the flood. In chapter 10, we see at the very beginning of that chapter 10, a description of Noah's children, Ham, Shem, and Japheth, and their descendants. And it just runs all the way down through that chapter, what we call the table of nations in the book of Genesis. And you have all of these places described, all these peoples described, and where they're from and who they are. And then in chapter 11, you have the story of the Tower of Babel and how everyone got to these nations and how everyone got scattered all over the earth and how they had their different languages and how that the origins of all of that. So it's non-sequential. The point is, this is a retelling, an unpacking of the original structure. In other words, we have the structure of Noah, his sons, and then from that we just quickly describe the nations. And then what we have is in chapter 11 an expansion of, and explaining how that all worked. Same thing in chapter 1. We have the explanation sequentially from how God creates light and then the world, and in 6 days we get to the sixth day, Adam and Eve, and it's stated very simply. And then in chapter 2 we unpack that and we have the details. So no, this was not a second creation. This was a retelling. Just like in verse 1, Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Well, that's a done deal. Well, then we have description starting in verse 2 of how that all plays out. And so there you have it. And there's someone honking at me that wants to talk to me. So isn't that funny? All right. Anyway, that's the answer. I hope that helps.